Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm great. Great to meet you, Cynthia. Let me
Great to
turn
meet
on my
you.
camera. All right. Can you see me now?
Yeah, I sure can.
All right. Great. Perfect. So welcome to the interview process for Rosenblum Law. We're going to be recording this interview for our attorneys in New York. So let me go ahead and just get everything ready and we'll start with the recording shortly. Okay.
Sounds good.
All right. All right. And we're starting in three, two, one. Welcome everybody to the recording of the interview for Cynthia Paniagua. Um, Cynthia has 20 years business development professional experience, specializing in sales, lead generation via digital marketing initiatives. She works with marketing companies to grow client sales using organic and paid initiatives. She's worked for companies such as FieldNotes.ai, Bigfoot Marketing, LinkGanic, and she was doing business development consultancy from June 2021 to this date.
Hmm.
She helped these companies with creating marketing strategies for lead generation and brand initiatives. She has created websites, content, social media channels from zero that attract qualified traffic that turns leads into sales. She uses local marketing strategies, both paid and organic, to generate traffic. She's familiar with the usage of platforms like HubSpot. Um, she also knows how to use tools such as ChatGPT for content creation, keyword research. She knows how to use WordPress, and she has worked directly with CEOs on sales initiatives and strategies for the last few years. She's proficient with SEO platforms such as Ahrefs, um, which is, I believe, that's similar to SEMrush, right?
Right. It would be a competitor,
Got it.
considered a competitor.
All right. And before that, she was also a product manager from June 2022 to August 2023 for gambling.com. Um, that's a publicly traded company of Ireland.
Mhm.
All right. So before that, let me see. You were with them for
A little over a year, about
a
14
little
months, I would
over a
say.
year. Got it.
Hmm.
Uh-huh. And before that, you were a digital product manager for odds.com from January 2019 to May 2021. So it looks
Hmm.
like, correct me if I'm wrong, but it looks like you've been working for multiple companies throughout the years at the same time.
Hmm.
Would this be accurate? Okay, great.
Yeah, there's a little overlap at times. And just because of the nature of the relationship, they'll reach out to me and they say, hey, let me bounce a project off of you. So then the conversation starts and like, why don't you join us short term, help us out with this, and then, move on. So that's been a lot of that. Hmm.
Got it. All right. So mostly everything is in marketing so far. That's what I've seen.
Hmm.
And before that, you were a managing partner from 2006 to 2008 and sold the company,
Hmm. Hmm.
which was Worker Dog,
Hmm.
LLC, workerdog.com. So that was your company?
Yep, that was my company. It was a recruiting firm. I did recruitment, so outreach, cold calls, reaching out. And my specialty for the company was candidate engineers, mechanical, electronic, nuclear engineers that had secret clearances. So these people do not exist on the web. They cannot have their information on the web. So you have to find them. So it
Mm,
was very interesting. And this was back when, you're talking about, at least 15 years, where information wasn't as readily available as it is now.
got it. Okay, so definitely a lot of experience in the business world. I before that you were in Absolute Entertainment. That was a
Hmm.
poker business from 2003 to August 2006. So you were there for 3 years as a senior business development manager.
Hmm. Yeah.
Key,
And
yes, go
oh,
ahead.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
I just started it from zero. It was an initiative that they didn't even have business development at that point. All they needed to know is that they needed to get people on the platform and start playing, whether it was for free, paid, it didn't matter. We needed to get the brand out there. So, it was a lot of initiatives, a lot of guerrilla marketing, outreach, cold outreach, partnerships, just really just being active, to get, I'm very proud of the fact that I brought the website down, or my team did, excuse me, 2 times, because we had so many people jump on the platform,
oh wow,
and yeah, so we're pretty proud of that.
amazing. Yeah, I definitely see here your key skills are very heavily um, emphasizing marketing, digital marketing campaigns, account management,
Mm,
budget management, analytical skills, SEO. Well, now all of those tools, ChatGPT, Claude. It, I see that here that you put Perplexity. I think you meant Perplexity.
yes, yes. Oh, thank you for that. I'm gonna change that. Thank
Yeah,
you.
no worries. I'm familiar with Perplexity, and I know that's where SEO
Yeah,
is heading.
yeah,
I'm glad to see that you're being updated and just flowing with the changes because you know how much large language models are gonna change the
yes.
game for search engine optimization, especially.
It did it. It's done. I mean, it's a whole different ball game. So it's for the first time, I think everybody's on the same even playing field, right?
Mm,
It doesn't matter if you're in 20 years. It doesn't matter if you just got in it. Everybody's the same field. I've seen through, so many different changes with Google and, so many different algorithm updates, but this definitely, left a mark.
hmm definitely. All right. You also have experience, obviously, in community management for social
Hmm.
media, for Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok,
Hmm.
and YouTube,
Hmm.
content marketing. Um, oh, okay. And I see here that you also have experience with agile methodologies, which are
Hmm.
for project management, and you manage tools such as Jira,
Hmm.
part of the Atlassian um, suite for their software tools. Do you manage ClickUp, Trello, Asana, or any of those? Or
Yes, worked with all of them. I would probably say Asana is the one that I had the most experience in, or Jira. Jira was where most of the platforms, even if my sales teams or my business development teams, excuse me, or my SEO teams, I would move them to Jira. Make them very for me. The transparency is bar none. You just get an idea. You know exactly where the team is, where they're at with their projects, with their sales cycle. It's just been very helpful.
got it. And I also see that you obviously have experience in recruitment. You even had a company doing
Hmm.
recruitment. So
Hmm.
glad to see that we're here between colleagues. Um,
Yeah,
all right. And you went to University of North Texas, correct?
that is correct.
And when you were there, what did you study back in 2002?
Business administration was my major, and I was focused in the restaurant industry. I was always client facing. My first job was a telemarketer when I was 15 years old. So I have been on the phone talking to people, whether, it's through a chat or face to face or through a phone, since I can remember. And so I was really focused in on that. And I think I made one of the silliest decisions in my life where I got into the restaurant industry and the managers were like, you don't need to finish your college degree. You're already flying, you're already in management, let's go. And I didn't. So, I had about a year and a half to go before I would graduate.
Okay. Are you right now located in the United States or Mexico or any other
I'm in Costa Rica,
in
physically
Costa
in
Rica?
Costa Rica. Yeah, I am in Costa Rica. I have one foot here in Costa Rica and another foot in San Antonio, Texas. My both of my girls are there. They're grown and adults and doing their thing.
Mm,
The reason that I'm here is that I have aging parents, so I am their primary caretaker.
got it. Okay, good. So I think I already know a lot about you. I was wondering, do you have any questions about the position?
Yeah, if you can just, very high level, give me, what you guys are looking for, what your focus is, and that would be very helpful.
Okay, so I'm looking for different positions right now. I'm hiring for client services, which is yeah, pretty much
Hmm.
customer service. Um, I'm hiring case managers.
Okay.
Uh, it does require a little bit of more of a technical knowledge for that position.
Okay.
It's a lot of paperwork, dealing with courts, dealing with customers. Um, we also have another position for intake. Intake is pretty much the initial contact for all
Hmm.
the customers. We
Hmm.
gather information, then we transfer it to a
Hmm.
specialist, and then we have the. I think this is the position that you applied for, which is the sales position.
Hmm.
So that that position, it's pretty much what it says in the title. We,
Okay.
we promote our services. We do have different types of services. We do copyright. We do estate planning. We do criminal. However, our bread and butter would be traffic tickets. That's our specialty,
Oh,
and it has been for the last 20 years. The company has been around for many generations. Um, and yeah, the position is looking to replace certain leaders that are growing within the organization, and we
okay.
need somebody to handle that call volume. Um,
Okay.
so we're looking to incorporate non-attorney salespeople. So
Okay.
you don't have to have any legal background for this. Um, you do have to have expertise on in handling phone calls. Energy is definitely a big plus. Your communication skills, your English, um, and mainly a passion for sales. Because I don't know if you've done sales before, but some people, when you talk about sales, they get nervous because they know the pressure. There's
Mhm.
there's this other type of people that when you talk about sales, they don't get intimidated at all. They get excited about it.
Right.
So it does require a very specific type of profile. It's the
Mhm.
position that I have that offers the highest potential
Okay.
compensation.
Excellent.
However, the potential does not necessarily translate into actual income if you're not good at selling.
Okay.
Um,
That's
like some
Mhm.
people go into sales thinking, "Oh, this is where the money's at," but if you don't know what you're doing, if you don't have that experience or or that skill, it will turn into pressure.
Mhm. Absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Well, just to give you an idea, with Field Notes AI, they are an AI company focused in on the real estate industry. So I was on the ground floor, in business development, started there, just team of one. And I was cold calling real estate agents every single
Mm,
day, every single day. Cold calling them, letting them know, hey, our lead generation and our CRM is going to help them close more deals, and it's difficult. These guys are on the go, and they will cancel. They won't even cancel if somebody wants to see a home or there's money on the table. They're just like, yeah, I'm not gonna show. So it was day in and day out, just at least 100 phone call or at least 100 phone calls. I would just probably say around 30 conversations a day, like true conversations, right? Of talking to people and seeing, if first of all, qualify them to see if they could afford us. And then after that, get them to commit to a Zoom call, which was with the CEO of the company directly. I was the one that would open the door, get everything going, and then jump in the call with him, and then he would close the deal.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah, I was curious about that because it's clear
Mhm.
that you know how to sell with tools because I think algorithms are the new salespeople
Right.
and all of these tech tools, but there's a very specific type of sale that cannot be just delegated to a machine. It's
hmm
usually high ticket items
hmm
like legal services. Uh,
Right.
but you clearly have the experience selling
hmm
high ticket. I imagine the real estate products that you were selling are not just low ticket. I imagine they were high ticket, right?
Yeah, so our starting package started at 550. Average sale would be anywhere between 750 to 1250, and the reason that that would change is because we would have to put marketing dollars behind that, right? So, once we got them on the platform, then we're like, all right, we're going to advertise on Facebook, we're going to advertise on Google, and we need advertising dollars there. So I would pretty much close about on average or from my lead and from my sales initiatives, it would be about 6 to 9 deals a month. Okay. And each deal on average was anywhere between like 7,500 to the highest was like 12,500 per month. Okay. So
Mhm.
I'm sorry, that's a yearly package, but if you multiply that by 6, so it gets you an idea on where I was at. I wasn't around 60 to 75,000 in sales a month.
Mm,
So that put me at around 800,000 a year.
mhm.
And really, the reason that I didn't hit the million was because once we were proven, once we figured out what the process was, then it was my job to hire the team, source the team, get them on the phone, start dialing, let's get the leads in, and let's try to scale. So then that obviously takes a little bit of time, and half of my day was into management, the other half was still doing outreach.
Oh wow! So you were doing sales plus managing the
it,
team.
it was managing the team, right, because it was, we were just like bootstrapping it. We were just like, all right, let's go. Our leads, we would scrape the realtor websites because their cell numbers are there. Everybody has the realtors have their information, they have to. So it was simple enough, and then we figured out, in terms of pain points, which real estate group, EXP at the time,
Mm,
was up and coming, right?
mhm.
And these guys were like completely disrupting the industry, compared to like a Century 21 or any one of those guys. And then, so we would reach out to them because they were kind of a Home Depot version, do it yourself. And then we're like, look, you need the tools. This is how we're going to help you. Once we identified that brand was the kind of real estate agent that we wanted, then we just went for it nationwide and just reached out to everybody.
Got it. I'm curious to ask you because you've been
Sure.
a recruiter too.
hmm
What would you ask if you were in my shoes?
I would I would probably I would probably ask, what the what your sales mantra is. And what I mean by that is that, right now sales is going through an evolution, just like everything else, right? So you've got the old school guys that are like, oh my God, we're the best ever, and we're gonna go, 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 and you're gonna miss out if you don't get on board with us. And then there's like the Jeremy Minor, the NEPQ, kind of, hey, what's your pain point? What is it that would make your life easier right now, and can my solution help you, right? Because I need to get on the phone and I need to help you. So I would want to know from a sales perspective, where they're coming from. What kind of salesperson are they? Are they evolving into, being more listen and talk less? Or are they the, old school, go, 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 get it done, close the deal, sort of thing, which closing the deal obviously is still king, but, there's just a different way to get it done. So I would probably start there on my question if I was, looking to start building a sales team.
Okay, let me give that question back to you. What would be your answer?
Okay. So I have been always, I believe that because I've been doing this for so long, I don't care about no. No is okay. Give me a reason why you're not giving me the no. I need to understand your no. Is it money? Is it timing? Is it, are we not the right fit? Oh, wait a minute, we are the right fit, but, I'm not the decision maker. Great. Get me the decision maker. So I have I adopted that style many years ago where I was just like, if I just talk to people and I just listen to them and figure out what it is that they need, then at that point, I can't, my value proposition is just going to be that much higher to them. Right. And then it's going to be harder for them just to be like, oh, you know what, I'm not interested, or, oh, I'm not this or that. Because at that point we're engaging in a conversation and we're connecting. So I definitely am a Jeremy Miner follower. I have done his sales trainings. I have not gone up and really spent a couple of weeks with him. I haven't done that yet, but I do follow his guidelines on psychology and how to get the person to really open up to you, and that would be my how I approach sales.
Got it. How do you feel about scripts?
um Scripts are necessary. They're outline, to me it's an outline. If I sound scripted, I'm probably going to lose you depending on who the person is, right? So if I'm cold calling you because I'm trying to buy your house, I need a script, because I need to come in, I need a break preoccupation. I need to go in ahead and engage you and get you to start talking to me. So scripts are very important in that arena. When it's incoming calls and there's actually someone with an interest, then the script is there as an outline of just like, okay, I understand now why this person's on the phone with me. I understand, what it is that they were looking for. And then at that point, the script is going to help me, get them closer to, to really being open to our solution, whether it's technical or services wise or whatnot. So scripts are fine. I write them all the time. I've rewritten them. I've shared them with teams. So that's not a problem for me.
Okay. It's interesting that you say that scripts work differently in outbound and inbound
Mhm.
scenarios. I'm very curious to know a little more.
Okay, so let's go. I just had it was a very short term project. It's just actually it was a friend of mine that said, hey, they have an outbound solar team selling solar, right? And selling solar is hard, and you're going to get a lot of people throwing the phone at you. Nah, I'm not interested. Da, da, da. So we had to when we would follow the script, we had to break their preoccupation right off the bat because it was so much easier just to hang up the phone and you wouldn't even have 10 seconds to speak. So our take was that we just sounded confused. So we're just like, hey, Aldo, gosh, I'm not sure if you can help me here, but are you still the owner at 123 ABC Street? Oh, fantastic. Has anybody knocked on your door and talked to you about the, Illinois, in Illinois, it's called Illinois Shines, the Illinois Shines program, and provided the details to see if you qualify for it? In that case, right? This is obviously something very different than legal. Then at that point, they would say yes or no. Right? Most likely they would say no because they had no idea what we were talking about. And I'm like, oh, fantastic. Well, if you qualify, then you get this. Then you can. The state will help you get this, and this, right? And this is what you need to do, and so on and so forth. So that was us going in cold, right? And when we would do out, when we'd have inbound calls coming in from the website or anything else, we knew that there was already an interest. They were shopping around. There's a psychology behind it. They're just like, what are you looking to do? And then at that point, it was letting them talk initially because the preoccupation was already broken. They wanted us to engage. So at that point, they were just like, okay, well, I'm trying to figure out if I want the state to pay for my system, or do I want to pay for it myself out of pocket, 30 grand, spend $30,000, knowing that I'm not on the hook for anything, et cetera, and what are the pluses and minuses of it. Obviously, we wanted them to go through the state because, the company would make more money, and then we would just navigate that, and highlight that. So I'm hoping that was that a good enough example?
Yeah, thank you. I want to ask you in regards to emotional intelligence, patience,
Mm-hmm.
and how you incorporate that in your experience,
Um,
practical experience, that
Practical.
you've done it, because
Mm-hmm.
inevitably, as an experienced and seasoned salesperson, you've gone through it. You've gone through the really intense emotional ups and downs of sales.
Right.
So I think only an experienced person can answer that accurately and how they manage those hurricanes of emotion.
So yeah, it's a really, really that's a really good question. I to be, and this is going to sound really silly, but this is what helps my emotional intelligence is right here. So
Hmm.
when I am calling and I've got 20 calls that they just go and tell me to fry churros, or they tell me to, go fly a kite or whatever, I step back. I step back for 3 minutes. I go in ahead and, and just kind of work it out, just a little bit, here and there. And then at that point, I'm just like, okay, I reset. It's not personal. It's, this is where, not everyone is going to say yes to me. And I know that. And I have to remind myself that, and it's almost like you have to, have a mantra for yourself where you're just like, this is the job, you know? Today, you just got a whole bunch of people that have a lot of things going on in their lives and they don't have time for you today, but your next call will. So call them up and I'm just like, hey, how you doing? What's going on? And get into it. And usually I found that if I shift my thinking and I'm smiling and I'm just like, and I'm genuine, I'm trying not to go over the top or anything like that. I'm like, hey, how you doing? Just let me tell you, if this makes sense to you, we can talk about it further, schedule a time. But let me just break it down to why is it that I'm reaching out to you today? Then all of a sudden, it's just like I get a breath of fresh air. The person engages with me, and then I'm like, okay, you know, I'm back. It's good. Let's go. And then maybe I won't get a sale at that point or an appointment or take it further, but I'm just like, I'm back. That's just that little bit is positive enough for me to go ahead, and it's fuel for me to keep on going.
Hmm. Okay. Why, having so many skills,
Mhm.
would you want to put yourself through all of this?
So so with Field Notes, we pivoted. We were early in the market with AI back when, 2 years ago, people were not talking about AI. Everybody was still like robot, robot, robot. So the market for us was great, fantastic. We were educating people and blowing their minds. Wow. And then ChatGPT happened and everything. And then all of a sudden, our product became small, because, this just AI is just, it's incredible. So then at that point, we pivoted and I started building. I built an actual, we got a client that was in legal and doing lemon law in California. So I built a website, started creating leads, right? Unfortunately for me, I went too wide and I was going national. So I was getting people from all over the country asking me, help me with my lemon, et cetera, and just kind of going through it. That taught me, that I was just like, okay, I can do this from scratch. I know how to do it. I'm going to go in ahead and, get some some things in place. You know, I have a YouTube channel, you know, and everything else that it manages itself practically, right? It doesn't, you know, I've got it where it's okay. I'm at a point in my life where my parents have taken priority. And so all of a sudden, for me to be a project manager and having a team of 20 people or 30 people under me or whatnot, you know, not very conducive when dad calls me up and says, hey, you know, my leg is asleep. I can't really move. Mom can't really move my dad because my dad's a big guy. You know, I've got to go. Right. And I was finding myself that I was having to choose, you know, and I went through that again when I had kids, you know, and I was always having to put my job first, or was it my kids first, or, you know, and that whole thing. And I'm just like, all right, I've got to get to a point, you know, and sales is my safe place where I know that I can come in, I can get the job done, I can make money, and I can get out, and I'm good, you know, and I'm not sure, you know, that must have been a disservice for me at this point for saying that out loud, but I want to be completely transparent with you. And then I was like, all right, you know, this is good, and it doesn't bother me, you know. I think I get a little bit of an adrenaline rush, you know, with sales as well. So, you know, a little bit of a happy place there.
Yeah, definitely. Very relatable. The same thing happened to me. So I was,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. I wanted to step away from leadership roles and
Okay.
went back to sales at some
Yes.
point, and that's what I enjoy doing. But then I realized like I'm also a leader, and
Yes, absolutely. It is so difficult, right? Because you keep on, you know, when you ask me like, wow, you had a lot of these things running in at the same time. Those are just past relationships. Those
Mhm.
are people that reach out to me. Hey, Cynthia, I need help. We need help again. We're stuck here. We're blocked here. Help us out. And I'm not saying I'm the end all be all or anything like that, you know, or anything, but they were confident enough in what I do, and they know what my capability is, and you get pulled back in. Or I would go in, you know, and I'm just doing sales, and all of a sudden, hey, you want you to manage the team, and I'm like, okay, I'm back here again,
Mhm.
you know.
Yeah,
But I think that this is how we're built. You and I are built that way.
yeah.
We can't scale it back enough, you know.
Yep, yep. For this job, just so you know, I applied to be sales manager. Then I went to sales,
Uh-huh.
and I didn't last. They were like, no, 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 you got to go to recruiting.
Yeah.
So that's what I realized, that once you become a leader, sometimes it's hard to run away from it. So
Hmm.
eh, eh, the reason I'm bringing this up is because maybe once you get involved in this environment, maybe at some point the same will happen to you, because that's the culture here. Like we will kind of see what you're really good at and the value that you're bringing to the company, and we'll be like, hey,
Hmm.
we need help with that.
Hmm.
That's what I like about working for small organizations, that there's relatively small. Okay, it's about 30 people here, but
Hmm.
I've worked for large corporations in the past, and I actually prefer to work for smaller companies because there's a lot of more room for innovation compared to
Hmm.
other companies where everything is so robust, so slow, so already set in stone, that you're just another brick in the wall. So
Hmm. Hmm.
I guess I like this environment. Anyway, we're gonna wrap it up. I know I am enjoying this conversation, but I don't want to take too much of the time. So here's what we're gonna do just to wrap it up. A
Okay.
5 minute clip. All right.
Hmm.
You said you had a YouTube channel.
Yeah, yeah, it's actually in Spanish for lemon law. So it's Le Limon, California, you know,
Okay.
so, you know, just creating it. I just started it last December. You know, it's really just lead generation. That's what we do. We're almost hitting 1,000 subscribers, but,
Huh?
you know, we get a lot of views, and we get a lot of interaction, which is what we want, you know, and people get very passionate. You know, when we do a Tesla video on the Tesla Cybertruck, and it's such a piece of beef, you know, and they're just like, oh my God, I can't believe this, you know, and you're just like, yes. You know, obviously the algorithm gods love that. So, yeah, so I created that, created for odds.com, created a betting channel. We got to 20,000 subscribers in 1 year.
Mhm.
It was a little different though, because it is betting, and it's very aggressive, and, you know, there's games all year round and everything else. So, you know, a little bit of different things. So, so yeah, so just to give you an idea. on that.
Got it. Um, I just have one last question. Speaking of passion,
Yeah.
what would your closest friends, or maybe your subscribers, or
Uh-huh.
maybe somebody that knows you, what would they say is a subject that you cannot stop talking about?
Okay, so I am a car nut, so I do love cars and I love the industry and I love everything about them. I do not go crazy talking to people that are not car people because they just don't understand it and it sounds weird. So, but if I figure out that you are, oh, it's on, 100%, know that. But one of the things that I do figure out that I do a lot that I actually am trying to work myself on is because I'm always looking for a business angle. I'm always looking at, hey, there's something there. Wait a minute, let's explore that. Let's unpack that. What is it? So this product does what again? And what does it do? And you tried to do what? So they get that a lot from me. So, my friends or people that know me.
Got it. Got it. Can I ask you why?
My brain has always worked that way since I was a kid. I don't know why. Neither of my parents were in sales, but I did have the gift of gab. And I mean, my parents decided to take me out of the States and bring me to Costa Rica for about 4 years. So I had a point of reference, like to say, hey, the US, you're lucky to be here. Don't, but don't take it for granted. You need to figure out how other people live. So I lived down here when I was a kid for about 4 years, and my mom wouldn't give me allowance. It would just you just don't do that. Mom's like, you don't need money, you don't need anything. And I was like, I do need money. I need a role. I need some money. So I would totally. My dad would come down, and I can't believe I'm telling you this story. Would bring me peanut butter because back in the day, there was a lot of products here in Costa Rica that you just couldn't find. And so I would make peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, and I had a black market at school, and I had 20 orders a day, and mom would just could not figure out why the peanut butter was just running out all the time. And she was just like, but your dad, you can't be, eating it up like that. And I'm like, well, it's because I love it, because I couldn't tell her, that was it. But I'd buy my sister lunch. We'd have Cokes for lunch, we'd totally be taken care of. So that's the first, memory that I have of me being in sales.
Mm,
And it just went from there.
beautiful. Love it. Wow. All right. So we're gonna wrap it up with a 5 minute trailer of your interview.
Okay.
It's like in social media
Okay.
that you do your TikTok little reel or
Uh-huh.
your YouTube short
Okay.
for people to watch the entire interview. These are
Okay.
busy lawyers, so sometimes they don't want to go through the entire interview. So I figured out that the best way to get them engaged when I find somebody I like is just to record like a 5 minute teaser, like a 5 minute trailer where they see your energy, they see why you're a good fit for this sales
Mhm.
role, and it invites them to watch the whole thing and want to talk to you for the next interview. All right. So I'll give you 2 minutes just to think about what you want to say. All right.
Okay.
All right. I'll
All
come back
right.
to you. I just need to update it here. One moment, please.
Sure. Just let me know when time's up and you're ready, and I will be ready.
All right, perfect, perfect. We still
I'm
have.
just putting my thoughts down
Yep,
here.
that's fine.
Mhm,
That's fine. We'll
mhm.
take a few more minutes. All right, looks like you're ready, right? Or if
Yeah,
you
yeah,
need
I'm
a
ready.
few more minutes, if you need a few more minutes, that's fine.
No,
At
no,
the end of the day, I care about the trailer. We're on the
yeah,
same team here.
no, no. I think so. You need 5 minutes, right? You said.
Yeah,
But
actually, the time is not as important as the
okay,
quality of the output. So
okay,
do
okay,
your thing, okay?
fantastic.
Just let me know when you're ready.
Okay, um, I am ready.
Okay. All right, perfect. So I'm just gonna count to like three, two, one, and then boom, you make it happen with the right end. You know what you're doing. All right.
All right, sounds good.
Three, two.
Hi, my name is Cynthia, and I am a sales professional. I have over 20 years of experience in sales, and oddly enough, sales is my happy place. Why would someone say that it's their happy place? It's because I get to interact with people, and more importantly, I get to help them, even though they might not know that they need my help yet. I'll get them there. Why is it that you would want me to talk to your prospective clients? Is because I listen. I'm going to listen to them. I'm going to listen to their pain, where they're at, what they need. I am going to tell them it's going to be okay, regardless if we can help them or not. And there's going to be a confidence that's going to come across that's going to make them feel really good about moving forward with us. Now, I'm driven, I'm loyal, I have compassion, and these are drivers that I've instilled in my kids, and I've instilled in my teams that I have built in the past, where we're here to be of service, and even though we are selling, we want to make sure that that what we're selling is a complement to what the person on the other side needs, and that we both walk away happy with what we just agreed to. Any questions, feel free to reach out. Thank you for the opportunity. Again, my name is Cynthia.
All right, perfect. So just so you know, you're welcome to ask for another take if you want. We'll do as many as you want. I'm here. I'm just your assistant here. If you feel comfortable with that take, we can also send that one. Whatever
Mhm.
you like. It's your work of art.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think that's it. I I said everything I needed to say. So you know, so I hope there's enough curiosity there that they'll want to hear more.
Excellent, excellent. Yeah, I really enjoyed this interview. I'm gonna speak on your behalf, and as you can probably tell, it's already an unconventional type of recruitment process. I
Mhm.
don't really like to go for canned questions because they usually get you canned answers. I've been doing recruiting for a decade, and
Okay.
and some of these are already intuitively in me. I already know what generates curiosity in me and what I need to know about people. But the reason I'm telling you all this is because it's not over. The recruitment process in this law firm, it's a little long. Well, it's actually very long. I'm not gonna
Okay.
sugarcoat it
Hmm.
because it's about a week long because
Okay.
they do ask you to go through multiple testing phases. All right. So if you make it through this phase,
Hmm.
after they watch your trailer, they will send you an HR assessment
Hmm.
on
Okay.
the computer. Takes about an
Hmm.
hour.
Hmm.
I cannot emphasize enough how important it is to watch your grammar in that HR assessment because it's time based. So you're on the clock and you have to watch how professionally you're writing. All
Okay.
right. Uh-huh.
I understand.
All
Okay.
right. So it will test your cognitive abilities, but also it's going to test your suitability for a sales
Hmm.
role.
Hmm.
Now, after we complete that test, don't underestimate it. I cannot emphasize it enough. Um, After you complete that test, it comes the next phase, which is very simple for a tech savvy person like you. It's pretty much just to make sure that you're proficient with Google Workspaces,
Okay.
Google Sheets,
Hmm.
Google Docs, nothing
Hmm.
fancy, no formulas, just simple data entry because we're taking in information from the customer. So we want to make sure that you're accurate mainly. All right.
Okay.
And in the writing test, what we want to make sure is that you number one, have no grammar problems because obviously for a law firm, sending an
Yes.
email with because we charge premium prices, so you can imagine sending an email with grammar mistakes. It's
Right. Right.
su-
No.
such a big problem, especially in this age, in this day and age where you have Grammarly, where you have
Hmm.
ChatGPT, where you have Claude, where you have you name it.
Hmm.
By the way, during the test, you will be able to use all these tools. We don't
Okay.
care about how you get the output. What we care is about the output. And you know that with large language models, the quality of the output is based on the quality of your prompt.
Right. Right. Absolutely.
All right.
100%.
So as long as you can produce good output in that writing test, you're free to use whatever. It's going to be about 25 minutes for the writing test,
Hmm.
and it's going to be about 15 minutes for the Google Sheet data entry test. For
Okay.
for that test, it's very simple. We're just going to give you some files to look at, and then you're just going to need to figure out what to do with those files and input the information into the Google Sheets that will provide you. Um,
Okay.
but I don't want to get ahead of myself. You will only hear about those tests if you make it through this phase. It's not me the
Okay.
one who makes the decision. It's going to be an
Hmm.
entire team looking at this interview.
Hmm.
Now, after you finish your tests,
Hmm.
we have one final test, which is a mock call. All right.
Okay.
If you've been in sales, you're probably familiar with what that is. Um,
Hmm.
but we're going to give you a script.
Okay.
If you'd like, I can even send it like early so
Yep.
you have more time to memorize it. I
Please.
usually, yeah. Okay, great, great. I'll send it right away. So you have some time to study it because
Hmm.
what we're going to be focusing on is pretty much on your delivery, how you make it sound your own, how if you make it sound natural,
Hmm.
what's your vibe like. Um,
Okay.
I'm pretty sure you know how to work yourself around the script, so
Mhm.
we'll see.
Okay.
Uh,
All right. Sounds good.
and then after we practice it, maybe we'll go through it one time, and then we're
Uh-huh.
going to record it. All
Okay.
right. Once we record it, I'll submit the recording to the team. That's when they will decide to do the final interview with the lawyers. In that interview, you will be with 2 or 3 lawyers, and they will have a short interview because they already know you.
Yeah.
And after that, you're all set. All right.
Okay. All right. Sounds good.
Pleasure to meet you, Cynthia. I got to move on to my next meeting, and thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Aldo. I appreciate your time and hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll be talking again.
Fingers crossed.
All right. Take care. Bye
All right.
bye.
Bye bye.